How's it going, everybody? Jody in here, and I am in No Man's Sky today. I just finished episode 20, Reach, and as you can see, if I go to the catalogs and guides, and I go into my milestones, expeditions, there it is, 20 Breach. Done and done. I have a few thoughts on Breach. This is actually my Breach base, which is why it's not really that impressive, and why there's multiple terminals for researching, because you get these when you're doing the expedition. The anomaly is empty. All the space stations that are along the path of the expedition are also empty. In fact, the space stations are not just empty, they're abandoned completely. So it's basically just you. And I gotta say, Expedition 20 was... I got some mixed feelings about it. I see what they were doing. I see what they were trying to do. But it's kind of like they got through the new content within about the first hour, and then they just, after that, they started having you do mundane stuff. New content, of course, would be the vehicle salvaging, which I will attempt to show you that momentarily. So that was one aspect, and then the other aspect, that we got new ship parts, which is great. I absolutely love the ship parts. So I am not going to say that this expedition isn't worth it, because I do think it is 100% worth it. That said, once you get through some of the initial stuff, you are left with a lot of mundane tasks to do, which that seems to be the norm in expeditions. But for example, this was one expedition task, was to go to a planet and gather pieces and build a sculpture. That was one of the tasks. Build a fossil display. That was one of the tasks. That's why I have a fossil display here. Another task was to build a corvette using starting parts. So we built a corvette using starting parts. Another task was to, take the Nautilus down to 1,000 feet underwater, which on this planet wasn't too difficult to do. I did have to find a specific spot around this area, and that spot ended at 1,000, so I basically pushed the Nautilus into the ground to get it to go to 1,001, which is actually where you need it to go, 1,001. So that was fairly easy to accomplish once I did that. You have to gather a few things underwater. You have to gather some storm crystals on a radiated planet. Most of the normal stuff. You even have to fish. One of the expedition tasks was to fight the broodmother. Another expedition task was to fight the sea abomination, the jellyfish. So there was a lot of mundane tasks that you would normally experience in No Man's Sky. Stupid wall of flame. But they ended fairly simply and easily, and the rewards were not bad. For example, these are some of the rewards here. There was 3 posters. I got 3 posters. There was also this is the badge for finishing off the expedition, which is a nice looking badge, I think. Nice looking paint mark. And then of course the ship parts were the huge part of this. Was the ship parts. The corvette parts. There are additional parts that were added, just basic parts that we've been wanting and needing. There's actually quite a large library of parts now. And there were some additional Atlas, kind of Atlas geared parts that look like they were developed through the Atlas, maybe as part of the Sentinel program. And those were the main draw for this, and those parts are craftable. So once you complete this campaign, or once you complete this expedition, you don't have to buy those parts. You can craft those parts, and I think that is awesome. That is well worth it, because all of a sudden you have engines, you have wing parts, all of it craftable, which is great. Um, Sadly, there's no corridors to go along with it. Like, there's no additional hulls. We still have only the 3 interiors, and there's still only the 3 cockpits. So, sadly, we don't make out in that. There is a new landing gear, which is great. The new landing gear actually helps with the appearance of your ship. I know a lot of people get upset when they land on uneven terrain, such as this, and it looks like their ship is kind of half-ass floating because it didn't land. Like the landing gears are kind of in the air. This new landing gear solves that problem because it actually goes down 2 blocks. So it doesn't matter where you land, the landing gear is probably going to be on the ground. Or through the ground. Whatever the case may be. But it's going to look better than your ship just floating in the air and hovering in the air. I did have 3 exocraft on this trip. The one I used the most was the Minotaur. The one I used the least was actually the Colossus. The Colossus is my favorite. Exocraft in No Man's Sky, like actually the game, like the full game. So I thought on an expedition, that's what I pushed for. That was my first vehicle, was the Colossus. And then I realized that the Colossus wasn't really suitable for this expedition. This expedition, you need something that's more fast, you need something that's speedy, and you need something that can get places. Usually like through holes or down up hills or very, very sharp hills. Some of the planets are very mountainous, very tall mountains, very sharp mountains. So, like I said, my first vehicle was the Colossus, and I used it for a little while. And then I got the Rover or the Roamer, I should say, after the Colossus, because I was like, yeah, the Colossus is nice. I like the Colossus, but it's too big. It's too big for the stuff that I was getting into. There were caves and stuff that I had to navigate and whatnot, and it was just too much of a pain in the ass. So I got the Roamer, and the Roamer worked great. And then when I started to realize that I was going to have to face things like the Broodmother and that kind of stuff, then I was like, okay. And a lot of the planets that were involved in the expedition were either high sentinel activity or hostile settlers. So having the cannon on the Minotaur was clutch. It was absolutely clutch. I don't think I would have survived really without it. Throughout the expedition, you also unlock your weaponry. So you get things like they give you upgrades, of course. They give you all the upgrades to your Sub-Zero, your oxygen, your underwater. They give you all these upgrades. They give you the refiner. You get the hazmat gauntlet. All of these things are unlocked as you progress. It's kind of a progression-based. I'm going to stand in here just because it's hot out there. It's kind of a progression-based. If I go over to my multi-tool, it also, again, progression-based. It'll give you the scatter blaster plus some upgrades. It'll give you the pulse splitter plus some upgrades. It'll give you the fishing rod as you complete, as you progress through the story, the campaign, whatever you want. As you complete tasks along your journey, it'll give you all this stuff. You don't have to unlock any of it. It'll just give it to you as you complete the tasks. Because it knows you're going to need it next. So, it gave me the scatter blaster. I think it gave me the scatter blaster right before I had to take on the Broodmother, but by that time I already had my Minotaur, so I was like, no, fuck that. And the same with the pulse splitter. I believe it gave me the pulse splitter right before I dealt with the sea anomaly. I forget what it's called. It's the one where you fish up the little squid and you squish it in the water, and then that brings your sea anomaly. Which looks like a giant jellyfish, with a bunch of little jellyfishes to help, aid it. So it gives you the pulse splitter right before that, which the pulse splitter is a great weapon. Don't get me wrong, but I already had I had my Nautilus there. I had I was able to just bring in a vehicle and kick its ass. So I didn't really need to use the to use the pulse splitter as well. Excuse me. This is the multi-tool that it actually gives you for the expedition. It doesn't start you off with the default one. It actually gives you this one, which is kind of nice. I like the look of it. So this is your Expedition 20 multi-tool. Now I'm gonna skip the starship thing because I think it'd be better to show you the whole reason for this expedition. Oh yeah, actually my reason for this expedition. I was like, ship parts? Fuck yes. Ship parts that we can craft? Even bigger, fuck yes. So let me bring in my my little vessel here, and this is what I was playing for. Look at that. Oh, I can't get over how good it looks with the new parts on it. God damn. It's a thing of freaking beauty. So, to take you over some of this, we have some, and I'm going to take you up to the space station, but I just want to kind of give you a little lowdown right now. This center section here, that's one of the new parts. This guy right here, it's basically a 2 block long, 1 block wide storage tank, I guess you'd call it. It has mounting points on the side and the top. So it can be placed basically anywhere. It's kind of a scaffold piece, but it looks cool. It looks good for ship parts. This piece here is an engine that can be mounted top, bottom, or either side, left or right. This piece right here. I have another piece on the front of that, which I will show you here. This piece here is actually it's actually copied elsewhere, so I'm not going to spend too much time showing you that. This piece that I'm standing on is actually 2 pieces. I've placed them side by side. These function similar to the radar dish that we already have, the one that resembles an AWACS, the giant radar dish, you know, big round dish. So these ones are diamond shaped, as you can see. They're pretty friggin' cool. They got the lighting effects on the sides of them, and I was able to put 2 side by side because they kind of mount the same as the dish. If I was to have one in the center, if I was to move that over to the center, it would actually be placed a little higher. But for some reason, these guys can be mounted just off the center, down low, which makes them look so much better. But yes, there are 2 of them here. And this line here is where they overlap. This actually goes inside that, and this actually goes inside that. You can see the edge here of one continuing into the other. What the hell's that? Oh, that noise! I know what that noise is. So we also have shield arrays, new shield arrays. They are these guys here. They have a nice base to them with the Atlas sphere above them. Nice little red effect, which this flashing glow, which you can see happening, will actually continue through the ship into the ship. So it gives a kind of nice little red alert on the inside. This piece here, which is it ends right there, right that line right there. So this front piece is kind of like the front piece we already have. The angled front piece, it's just in another design. And we also have a back piece to it, which is this piece right here, which goes from this seam here down to the back here. So it's a triangular piece, which is again similar to the triangular piece that we already have, except it looks nicer. It looks a lot nicer, especially with the red pulsing glow. Absolutely love it. They can be placed top and bottom. They can also be placed on the back, and you can see I put a section of them on the bottom to kind of give this nice ski effect. These here are also a new part. This piece here is a curved part, which we have needed for so long. Since the Corvettes came out, we've needed this kind of curved quarter pie part. And we have it. It has mounting on the top and the bottom, which is awesome because you can mount your guns top and bottom to it. Absolutely love it. I have 3 wing pieces. Wait, 3 wing pieces? Yes, 3 wing pieces. So the front wing piece is this piece here, which goes from this point, and you can kind of see it's thin. It's kind of stealthy looking. It's got this this curve in it, this nice round curve in it, and it comes in kind of back here inside, you know, inside the other wing. Then you have this wing piece here, which again I'm going to show you all of these on the station. You have this wing piece here, which is more beefy. It's a much heavier wing piece. Imagine this not being there. Imagine this piece here not being there, and you'll see the shape of it. It comes out basically this way to a point right here, which isn't a point. It kind of looks like a gun, like the end of a gun barrel, kind of. But it comes out here, and then comes back in the other side. And I believe this piece is where this is mounted to. This Atlas kind of orb here, I believe, is part of this this wing piece. And then we have a rear wing piece, which you can kind of see starting down here, and it comes in and it kind of curves over and it comes back, and it's actually an engine piece. This is actually an engine piece, but it's a large wing kind of piece. It has these nice little effect pistons on the oh, not pistons, but vents kind of on the side. Makes it look nice and industrial kind of on the back here, and it has the engine port on the back. These points here are part of the middle wing, the bulkier one. But again, I'll take you to the space station and show you all of that. Not really anything new for the interior, which, like I said, I'm not really too happy with that. I would have liked a new interior, because right now we have the 3 interiors, and they're not bad. As you can tell what my preference is. They do have the 3 interiors. The 3 interiors aren't bad. I wish there was another interior added for this this expedition. Maybe in the next one. But I will take you to a space station. Unfortunately, I can't take you to this space station because for some reason the space stations in the expedition don't exist after you leave the expedition, or after you're done the expedition. So let's head up. Oh, and another thing, the engine effect. You unlock an engine effect during the expedition, and that engine effect is as so. So it is a kind of electrical sort of exhaust with red beams, and I think it looks pretty nice in combination with all the red pulsing that's going on. So before we hit the station, I do believe I can show you what this expedition was mostly made up of, or mostly showing off. So let me just hop out of my seat here. And that's been a problem this whole expedition. Has been phantom laser beams. Oh, and let me check my inventory. I do not have one on me, so I will grab one. Consumables. So this is the new thing that they have you making, is these guys here, these debris rangefinders. That's basically the whole point of this expedition, is these debris rangefinders. So once you have a... Ouch. Once you have a debris... I'm going to get out of this storm. There we go. So once you have one of these debris rangefinders, they have you make a bunch of them. So don't really worry about that. But once you have one, you scan for debris, and it'll go into a sweeping for wreck sites. And it wants you to activate the pulse drive. Basically, it generates a wreck site when you come out of pulse. So it'll go through its little thing here. It'll create a wreck that you're going to run into, and then you just drop out, and there's your wreck. So you fly up to the wreck, and there will be a few different spots that you can destroy on the wreck. Now, your best bet for this is to just open up with your cannons. Just open up on the wreck with your cannons, blast away, and you'll hit the things that are meant to. See, there's one, and it gives you Corvette parts. You see, I got an engine cover there. And you just basically fire at the wreck until you start seeing. Damn, there's one. I got twin dynamo jets there. I got a stabilizer. And so this is kind of the new way of getting Corvette parts instead of just hunting them, you know. And there are sometimes other things in these wrecks, so I'm going to just pull up here and we'll hop out. Basically gives you another reason to spacewalk. So we'll open our door here. We'll run a scan. And with that scan, we can see the areas that are salvageable, which we already collected that. We already collected that. It doesn't look like there's anything else here, just those two. So we're all good. We'll return to our ship. Well, and that sometimes happens too. I think that's a bug where you just get warped back to your ship. So it looks like we got everything covered. That's already been taken care of. We already took care of the one on the other side, and it doesn't look like there's anything else here. If there was a storage block or something that you can open, you'd be able to see that there. So you can use your viewfinder too and take a look around. You can see there's nothing else on these ships. So that's it. They have you do that about 5 or 6 times in different areas. I think it's 5 times. Because there's five parts to the breach thing, to the breach episode, and each time you're at one of these locations, you get a new story, basically. Well, kind of a story. I'm not going to ruin it by showing you all of them, but I'll show you one of them. So, when you're doing the breach expedition, you'll visit these. It'll have you visit these wrecks. At the start of each part, you'll visit one of these wrecks, and you will get you'll get logs. You'll get some log files. So your basically breach has to do with the breach of the Arcadia ship. So you'll get these log files, and you can just read them. Captain found a yada 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 on the last walkout. It says they'll bring us luck, and you'll end up getting 5 of them at the. That'll tell you the story of the ship as you progress along. So that's basically the whole shebang. I got these crew manifests here from a slew of wrecks that were in the first system. In fact, some of them have spawned on top of others, so be very careful if you do the expedition that you don't get stuck on those wrecks, because I did the first time. So as you can see, the system has no space station anymore. It's gone. It was here. It's gone. I don't know why this keeps showing up. Like I have a couple of save markers that show up for some reason, which is weird. Because I have a save marker at my base too, but it doesn't show up. But those ones do. But anyways, so that is the whole expedition. Let me take you now to an actual space station that isn't on the path of the quest. So let's. Oh, my hyperdrive has no fuel. What? That's BS. Let's get some fuel for the hyperdrive. Of course, they give you a bunch of fuel and whatnot. Is it here? They give you a bunch of fuel and whatnot starting off. Oh, look at that! I don't have any. Mostly landing fuel, though. They don't really give you warp fuel. They give you, I think they give you 1 warp fuel, and then it's like kind of up to you to do the rest. But what do I need for this? I think I need ferrite and dihydrogen. Oh, that's tritium. Where's my dihydrogen? Where's my dihydrogen? Oh, we're beside it. Okay, so we'll whip up some antimatter here. Oh, chromatic metal and... What am I thinking? I'm thinking of jelly. Oh, God. It's carbon, chromatic metal. I think I need condensed carbon, though. Oh, I do have condensed carbon. I was going to craft it up. But I already have it. Alright, now let's get some antimatter going here. And then we'll get our fuel cell made. After we make the metal plating, and we make our fuel. Oh, for fuck's sakes, you need oxygen for that too. I swear I know what I'm doing. Ah, there we go. And now we'll make the fuel cell. There it is. Alright. Don't really care if I put that stuff back or not. And then we will recharge our hyperdrive. How come it says 4? I do have hyperfuel somewhere. Son of a... Anyway. Let's not worry about that. Let's get going. So, I'm going to take you to another system here. Like I said, not on the beaten path. We're going to find one that actually has a race to it. There's one. This should have a space station, I hope. Now the problem with doing an expedition is you can't really continue. Well, I guess you can, but you got to make some. You got to make some serious jumps after you finish your expedition if you actually want to start playing the game, because it's going to start you from scratch, right at the start of the whole Atlas quest and the whole standard storyline. It'll even though you have your progression is quite a bit beyond the start, it's going to start you at the start. So because of that, you really want to warp away from the expedition area, because like I said, the expedition space is there's no space stations. A lot of the planets have players already on them, so you kind of it's crowded. It's just I'll leave it at that. It's crowded. Oh, and by the way, they do give you a jump, a hyperdrive. What do you call it? Upgrade. They give you this hyperdrive upgrade right here, the Atlantid drive, which basically lets you go to any system, kind of. You can go to purple systems, you can go to red systems, blue systems, whatever system you want with that one. So they give it to you. Now, we're on Yon Space Station. Let's take a look at the parts. I'm just going to take you into the workshop. I don't necessarily have all the parts, but we're going to take you into the workshop. So, as I said, this is my current ship layout. And you can see the parts. This is the one part here that I was talking about. It's the diamond shape, which is kind of similar to the radar dish that we have. And I didn't want to do that. But you can see here how it can be mounted high in the center, or it can kind of be mounted low off to the side. And it kind of the same as the radar dish can. It's got multiple mounting points that are kind of around the center of the ship. This on the front, this is the blade that I was talking about, the kind of stealth blade, which I could see being on small ships. If you make a small ship and put this little blade on it, it'll look pretty friggin' hot, I swear. And then you have the larger blade, which is this guy. I'll just pull it off so you can see the size of it. It's huge. It is not an engine, it is just a wing. But it is huge and it looks fantastic. And then we have the rear engine drive, which is this guy. And again, it's huge. And this one is an engine, and it is pretty huge. and it kind of looks a little boss when it's by itself, I gotta say. So let's just, I can't really pull these guys off to the side because they won't, well, you know what, I'll just take them off, period. So here's what this guy looks like by himself. Just, it kind of has a weird shape to it. Doesn't necessarily come up to the side of the ship. Has kind of an organic look to it almost, which I think is kind of neat. It curves underneath, as you can see, and it's got like some piping on it, which makes it look even neater. Especially on this back end, you can see all the piping coming out of it. So it's I kind of like it. I think it's more, like I said, it's more of an organic design. Doesn't necessarily go well along with the kind of, you know, more I guess Atlas design of these other parts. Absolutely, I think it looks great with them. So we'll put these guys back on. Oh yeah, this blade here can be mounted top. Can also be mounted top, bottom, left, or right. So you could do some pretty sweet. You do some pretty sweet looking ships with it. I'm thinking. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of it. I love the way it looks. Might have a hard time getting that back on, because is that too far forward? That is too far forward. That's why. That's got to go back. That's got to go back, and then that can go in the, like so. Okay, so this is the other piece that I was talking about, this corner piece, which is really, really nice. We've needed one of these for a while, and we finally got it, so we can round off our corners. Absolutely love it. It fits the bigger pieces fine. I know we had some corner pieces already, and why do I keep deleting? I don't mean to delete. I'm trying to bring up the... I'm trying to bring this up. So we've had some corner pieces before, like this guy, like the Speedbird Dome. But the problem with this guy is it doesn't fit the shape of a square corner. And the problem with it's the same problem with like these guys. They don't fit square corners. So now we actually have pieces that will fit into a square corner. We have this the dome rim, which is the one I'm talking about now. We have the nacelle rim, and we have the hard frame diffuser rim, the Vesper diffuser rim. These will all fit into square corners, and these fuel pod covers will fit into half square corners, which is kind of nice. You can very easily sneak one of these in and sneak a turret on it, so it looks like the turret's kind of going through it. So that's a cool design. Now these are the diffuser and the cowling that I was talking about, and they're basically identical to the streamlined trim cap and the streamlined trim that we already had. So they are pretty identical to that, to those two. Now the new parts we got here is this large structural gantry, which I love. The oversized canister link, which is the one I'm using. The industrial cargo link, I believe, is a new one. And it looks pretty cool too. I don't have it, but it looks pretty cool just by looking at it here. And I think that could be it for. Did we have the coolant distributor before? Yes, we did. I think that's it for these. We got these three added. And then here, of course, we've got from here to the end added. This Arion winglet is nice. I have a couple of them. They are kind of interesting to place because they're sort of they're triangular shaped, as you can see. They come down to a point, but they also angle down. So as you can see, they're square at the back, but on the front they have a downward angle point, and they can be flipped vertical. And so something like, you know, putting it on the front of that, it's not going to really work really that well because you have a square back. So it, you know, you kind of have to play around with this one and figure out where it works and what you can do with it. It is a cool piece. It is a nice triangular piece. It has a triangular top or bottom, whatever you want to call it, with a square back. So I could see somebody putting two of these together, like one on the bottom, one on the top, and making something that looks really cool, like a point, you know. I could see that being done. There's a few other things I can see being done with that. But anyway, the engines, these back engines, as you can see them, they have an interesting front to them, which is kind of open. You can see how it's got kind of the Atlas crystal kind of inside on the front, and the back has a triple engine outtake, which is kind of cool considering so far we've been limited to singles and doubles. So this one has a triple, which is kind of nice, and I like the winglets too around it. Now this guy can also be top, bottom, left, and right. Can be placed top, bottom, left, and right. So you can put them up on the top. You can flip them around, put them on the bottom. You can turn them and put them on the side. You know. So again, a very cool piece that can be used in multiple places. Oh, and I did use that point. You can see that point on the bottom here. That triangular point. I do have it right there. Let me put this back first. Did I put that right? Yes. That triangular point, I did put it here. I put it upside down. It's right there. And that's what I put this on top of. So I use those kind of as the front of the engine to make up the front of the engine. And then, of course, this guy here is the shield, the new shield array. It's like I said, it's just a platform with a sphere on it, which I think it looks amazing. Way better than the current sphere that we have, which is where is it? Which is this guy, this high energy shield. This area and power shield is great. Oh, we also have this new defense field, this guy here, which is, again, it's a shield module, and it looks really cool. It's placed on the top. It takes up a single block, which same as this guy, and it kind of looks very very industrial. It doesn't stick out like these guys do. It's right there up against the hull, so it might fit better than these guys would, as far as perception goes. We also got the Infraknife platform, which looks like a giant chain gun. I mean, fucking, what's not to love about it? And the Cyclone defense cannon, which looks like a big gun. As for the engines, we did get some new engines. We got the Arion drive, as I mentioned, this guy here. But we also got a wide body thruster, which resembles the Titan sublight thruster. It's basically the same as the Titan sublight thruster, except it's just an engine mount. It doesn't have the whole engine housing, which is great, because you can put these on the side of a ship, and then you can put this directly on the back, and it'll look seamless. Really cool. We also got these guys, which are twin sublight jets. Absolutely love them. They look great. This one here, the firebox thruster, again, it looks great. It's very similar to the Pyre drive, except it's a little more bulky. And then we have the longshore thruster, which is a longer version of the wide body thruster. And again, looks great. I think all these new Corvette pieces are phenomenal. There's the Ambassador Heavy Booster, which is the one that I have on my ship. As well, here's the new landing gear. It's called hydraulic legs. They will extend down 2 blocks, whereas the regular landing gear only extends down 1 block. Actually, every other landing gear only extends down 1 block. These guys extend down 2 blocks, which is why when you land on something or land at something, these guys will reach the ground, because they, like I said, they stretch down 2 blocks. So that is basically a summary of what we got. Oh, here's the pillar, which, like I said, same as the radar dome, just looks nicer. And there's this one here, the Arion Pyramid, which is, I have not found a use for this guy yet. I guess if you're going for like that Stargate, Goa'uld look, hey, there you go. You got a pyramid. I haven't found a use for it myself, but there you go. And as you can see, look at that. There is a crafting recipe. 10 pugnum, 20 silver. Unlike the other parts of the Corvette, if you go into your Corvette listings here, unlike the regular parts of your Corvette, These guys, once you complete it, you can craft them. As long as you have the material, you can place these on your ship. So that is the big difference between your regular ship parts and these expedition parts. These expedition parts, you can make as many as you want, and you can put them on your ship as many as you want, up until, of course, you reach the ship limit. And it's the same as like the power shield here. They're craftable, which is great. The defense field, again, that's a normal part. That's not part of the Arion package. So that is a normal part that was added. It is with the regular stuff. Same with these guys. That's all the regular stuff. Come up to the Ambassador Heavy Booster. Again, that's a regular edition. That's not part of the Arion edition, which is the expansion. The expansion focuses on the Arion stuff. So with the Arion stuff, there you go. Once you complete the expedition, you have all of these, and they are craftable. So you don't ever have to go and unlock them again, basically. Because they are, everything, like I said, it's all craftable. All the Arion stuff. So, unlike your regular pieces, and there's the big bulky wing, the wings of Arion, and then the Arion blade. All craftable. All with plugnum, platinum, and metal plating. So that, if anybody asks, what's the benefit to doing the campaign, or not the campaign, but what's the benefit to doing Expedition 21? That is gonna, or 20. That is going to be my answer. My answer is going to be, it gives you the ability to craft parts for your Corvette, and not just any parts. You get to craft really cool parts. So, like as I said, there's your engine right there. Unfortunately, you can't craft the legs, so you're still gonna have to get legs. But there's your engine, right? You need an engine. There's your shield. You need a shield. You can craft those. I wish there was a reactor that you can craft. There is no reactor you can craft, so you still have to buy a reactor. You have to buy a cockpit, a hab, and landing legs. But your engine you can craft, as well as some hull pieces to make it look cool. You can craft those as well. So, not too shabby. I don't think that's too shabby. I think that's actually a pretty good deal for doing what's basically, it can be a 3-hour campaign. If you know what you're doing and you do it right, it only takes 3 hours. I took a little longer because I did some more exploring. I did some additional exploring, so I took a little bit longer. But you know, that's for later. I took a little bit longer because I did a lot of messing around. I kept going back and redoing my ship, making it look a little nicer, and, you know, working on the interior, gathering materials so I can have, you know, all this stuff. And I put these beds in, but I was gonna do Gravino balls in these, but I ran into so many things I could sell that, you know, as you can see, I wasn't hurting for friggin' money. I ran into so much shit that I could just sell, I can get rid of. Every single ground base was abandoned, so every single ground base you could pick up eggs and just go sell them. I made a fortune on eggs within my first hour of playing. In fact, I bought my Corvette. I bought all the pieces for my Corvette before they gave me pieces for my Corvette. That goes to tell you how easy it was to make money on this expedition, because, like I said, everything was abandoned. Every base, every planet base, every space station, they were all abandoned. So with that comes the ability to harvest stuff. Every single space station had a whole pile of boxes you could open. Plus, all your upgrades were on every station. Your suit upgrades. There was a place to sell all the stuff that you found on the station. There was, you know, everything was there. And then you go to the planet, and while you're on the planet, everything on the planet you can sell. So you get eggs everywhere you stop. There's eggs, at least 12, 13 eggs everywhere you stop. I probably still have some. Do I still have eggs? I bet you I do. I bet you I still have some. I would put those in with probably crafting components. No, where would I put those? There they are. Yeah, this here is a whole pile of shit that I have to sell. I didn't even get to sell it by the time I hit the expedition. This is all stuff I was gonna sell. I didn't even, like I said, I didn't even get to sell it. And then you get these fireworks at the end too. And these, of course, some of these are also part of the what they give you. Some upgrades and stuff like that they give you as well, which I never needed. As you're going along, you'll also, as you complete sections, you'll also get upgrades. That's why I have, so much unlocked in my inventory. I had 2 inventory spots down here, which I didn't even, or 3, which I didn't even realize I had until 4. I didn't even realize I had them until I was like halfway through the expedition. I was like, wait a minute, didn't I pick some of that up? And then I saw the scroll bar and I went, oh fuck, there it is. Like they were hiding down here. Once my inventory up here got full. Not used to that. Not used to, unless you go over top of it and you see the scroll bar, and then you're like, oh, okay, I have more down here. So yeah, and it also lets you expand here. So I was doing pretty good. I got up to I had 1 left here on my exosuit. I think my multi-tool is full. In fact, I had to take some off my multi-tool to make room for the pulse splitter, because they also give you the other one. They give you the what is it? The stun one, the stun launcher, stun grenade, whatever we want to call it. I forget what it's called, what the actual name for it. But they give you that one. I had to take it off to make room for the pulse splitter, and then I had to take off, I think, one of the scanners that it gave me. I had to take off to put the fishing rig on, because you need the fishing rig for part of the expedition. You have to catch some fish, and then of course you got to catch the little squid thingy that you have to squish to fight the squid boss. I don't do that often, so I don't remember its name. The brood mother I've fought many times. But the squid one I don't usually do. So there you go. Anyway, that's Expedition 20. I think it was well worth it. I think, there's going to be some amazing builds come out of it with the new parts. In fact, I'm going to, before I sign off here, I'm going to take a quick run to the anomaly to see if we have some other expedition completion ships hanging out at the anomaly. Because I like to see what people are doing. So let's take a quick trip to the anomaly and see what other expedition finalists have done, if indeed they're there. And I mean, I really do like the new parts. They look amazing. And I do like that some of them are vertical. Some of them, oh, well, we are just coming in droves here. I think somebody's building the Enterprise by the looks of it. Yep. I thought that was 2 ships I was following. It's not. It was the Enterprise. So, yeah, Expedition, well worth it. Expedition 20. He's building the Enterprise. Look at that. There's a fairly heavy grind to the Expedition. As far as, just doing mundane tasks, there's a lot of mundane tasks you got to do. But all in all, with the addition of the parts, I think it's great. I think it's absolutely great. And especially with the Atlas parts, with all the red lines and pulsing red on it, I absolutely love it. I don't think you can change the color of the red. In fact, I'm 99.9% sure that you can't change the color of the red. But it still looks phenomenal. At least I think so. So if I go like this and let's see, can I change colors? I can. Let's see if we can change the color of the red. I don't think we can. I think we can just change that changes that changes that. Yeah. Yeah, so it's just that. Still looks good. I still like it. I still think it looks great. even if you can't change the colors of the red. It is whatever. It'll still look good if you're using white, if you're using yellow, orange, whatever. The red will still look good with it. I swear. Oh, here comes another ship. That's yeah. There's another expedition ship. You can tell the expedition ships. And the fact that you can actually craft the components, like I said, people are just gonna go crazy. Because you don't have to collect them anymore, you can just craft them, and they look phenomenal. Anyway, that's going to cover it. Expedition 20, again, well worth it. If you haven't done it, you still have a little time to do it. I would definitely suggest doing it. It's a fairly easy expedition. I didn't have any problems with it whatsoever. The resources are plentiful. You do have to learn your resources because you are not going to find things like paraffin. You have to craft it up. Same with, I mean, cobalt you can find, but there are some resources that you're going to go, why can't I find this? And the reason you can't find it is because you have to craft it. There's no other alternative. For example, the chromatic metal, I don't know that I found any planet that actually had copper on it. I don't think I did. But almost every planet has quartzite, which people don't realize, or if you haven't done it before, this is actually craftable down to chromatic metal. And there's a whole bunch of other ones that you're gonna have to do as well, because there's gonna be stuff that you are like, I can't make this because I don't know, I don't have a recipe for it, or I can't find the mineral for it, or another good example is for the solar mirrors. Oh, that was chromatic metal for the solar meters. What was the other one? There was another one that was chlorine. Chlorine was another one. Chlorine was another one. Could not find chlorine anywhere in the water, but chlorine is craftable. I believe it is craftable from salt and, is it oxygen? I think it was salt and oxygen, if I remember correctly. I had to look some of these up because I'm not used to doing it that way. So some of these I did have to look up. I think it was salt and, oh no, just salt. Just salt gives you chlorine. So you have to process certain materials to get other materials that you are used to having in No Man's Sky. So that is part of the challenge. Once you figure that out, you're sailing. You're smooth sailing once you figure that out. Because at the start, if you've never done an expedition before and you've never had that kind of limitation before, then you're going to be sitting back going, "What the hell am I doing? How do I progress when I can't find this mineral?" And that's just it. In order to get the minerals, you have to craft them. You have to refine them. They're not just going to be there. So there's the landing gear. As you can see, we're on a normal surface right now, so you can see the landing gear's landed normally. Let's quickly find a planet and land kind of awkward, so I can show you how it works on an awkward planet. And then that'll be the last thing. We're at about an hour, which is as long as I wanted this video to go. I did want to show you a few things, so I knew it was going to be longer than a half an hour. Now, I am going to be starting a new series. That new series is going to be based on... Yeah, you can screw up, pirates. That new series is going to be based off of Minecraft. I know I had a Minecraft mod on the go, and I kind of have some thoughts about continuing that one. I do and I don't want to continue that one. That was the Skyblock one. I'm finding the skyblock to be a little too blasé, shall we say. There's not enough scenery, there's not enough exploration. It's just progression, that's it. One thing after another. There's no dungeons to explore, there's no enemies to fight, you know. So, while I do like things like Skyblock, I think I'll be moving on to a mod pack that has a little more substance to it. I just need some thoughts and ideas possibly on what that should be. Now, I did encounter a mod pack recently that seemed to have some limitations to it. This is flat ground. I didn't want to land on flat ground. I was trying not to land on flat ground. So I ran into a mod pack recently, MC Eternal 2, which seems to have progression to it. The one problem I had was that it was a little bit difficult. Mobs in it are kind of turned up to 10. So let's land here. This doesn't look too flat. There, you can see how the legs extended down. The landing legs extended way down, and the landing legs went into the ground. I'm hoping they have better ground detection, so maybe the legs don't have to extend all the way into the ground. But, as you can see... Ow, you bastard. Get out of here. As you can see, my ship is now on landing gears, even though it's not on the ground. Because these will extend down a full 2 blocks, and, you know, they're extended into the ground, so what? I don't really care if they're into the ground. At least it looks like my ship is actually landed. So I love that about the new landing legs. I love the fact that it actually makes your ship look like it is landed, even when it isn't. Those guys are neat. So that covers the landing gears. So there you go. Pretty cool. I did pick up a couple of pets along the way too, along this this mission. I'm just going to show them off just for a second here. This was the first pet I got. He's pretty fucking cool. I like him. This is the first pet I got. I believe I got him on kind of a robotic planet, which you do get to visit a robotic style planet. Really like this guy. And then I got my second critter, which was more on a bug planet. I found him more on a bug planet, and he was this guy. He looks pretty freaking sweet too. And there's actually a lot of them on the planet. You can ride this guy. So this guy is rideable. Pretty fun. I always like riding the pets. There were also some flying pets. Oh, can I set my camera to third person while I'm on? Oh, I can. Look at that. There you go. So there were also some other pets, but this guy looked kind of fun, so I decided to go along with him. Oh, I see. It doesn't. Yeah, okay. So he was kind of fun. But anyways, yeah, I picked up those 2 pets. They give you a limited 2 pets on the expedition. You do not have the ability to have a freighter on the expedition, because even if you land on freighters, they are, again, devoid of life. They are empty. There's nothing on them. That said, I have landed on some freighters and gone up to the build area, and I found some useful stuff there. Like one had a whole bunch of growing areas, and carbon. I got a lot of carbon off of it. So there are some benefits to still landing on freighters, and I'm talking like the player kind of freighters, not the derelict freighters. So there are benefits to landing on freighters, but it's mostly for collection purposes. Or if they have some kind of utility on them, maybe you can find something on one of them, like I don't know, maybe a crafting station or a refinery, something might be on one of them. I don't know. But anyway, that is the whole shebang. Pretty much as soon as you're done the expedition, your first warp jump after you're done the expedition gets you your freighter. That gets you into your freighter battle. So I do have a freighter, but only because I finished the expedition and did a warp right after the expedition, and it was like, oh, you're in a fight. And then the other message came in that was like, you are not alone. Your very first message that you get when you get into space, the whole "you are not alone" message showed up, and I was like, oh, okay, so here we go, we're back into the game. But basically, the expedition starts you off, levels you up, gets you prepared, and basically gets you to practically almost an end game character. And while it gets you to the point of being almost an end game character, then it dumps you back at the start of the game when you're done. Like the start of the actual game. So take it as you will. I have my expedition character now, which I will be saving as an expedition game. I don't think I'll be continuing this character. I have another character that I've been playing for quite some time, and I will probably be playing that character. But that said, I have now unlocked these parts that I can carry with me onto that game. So that makes me pretty happy, because I have a nice ship on that game, and I would love to spice it up with some of these new parts. And I think it'll look phenomenal. Anyway, that's gonna cover it. So this is for me and my bug here. This is Jodian signing off. I'll see you next time, guys. Have a good day.